Namaste Galactic family, and welcome back to my channel IndigoAngel. Come on into this dimension, guys. Be sure to subscribe, hit that notifications bell, comment, and share this video, and also put a like on this video today. As I have a lot of things I'm going to dive in and discuss today, so I'm going to be a wide range of topics, kind of going into current events and current energy, current political things that coincide with current energies, to going into the introductory portion of my Lemurian regression, Golden Temple healing, Stargate repair session, the womb temple, all of these things. So I'm going to dive into that today. So this is going to be a very long one today. It is 4th of July. I am filming on the 4th. So happy 4th to my family. Not sure if this day in specific energetically carries the same meaning anymore than it once did regarding the principles of freedom. I'm sure some of you can agree on that. But what I do love most about this day is the high Syrian sun and the high Syrian gateway that we go through. That's now until the 7th through the 9th of July. And they say that this gateway does peak on the 4th. So today, the high spiritual sun is very activated, and then it just kind of slowly fades, and it takes us into Hydra season. So going out of the spiritual high Syrian sun of this high elated mother energy, divine mother presence, because that's what the Series A is all about. And then takes us into going back into the Hydra system, where we kind of start to go in through this more hidden mother principle, okay, and dive more into the occult of that energy. And so I honestly feel like that's kind of why I'm delivering this session to you guys, is because I'm being kind of propelled off of that divine mother essence and that divine mother energy that's helping me collectively build this Lemurian regression session. So it's going to be for, like I said, deep Stargate repair for the womb, for the cervix, for the woman anatomy, energetic restoration, and also implant and tag removal system for the divine feminine. Now, I do know that the masculine does carry some of these implants and tags as well. So, I mean, that's something I can look towards doing in the future. Right now, I don't think I'm going to be offering this to the masculine at this time. This is more about clearing stargates and incarnation gates that are inside womb portals. And so this is a session. This isn't a seal matrix like the J seal removal or like the Draco seal removal. It's implants and it's tags. And so I just want to, even though it's according more to the Lemurian traumas, the Lemurian core wounding, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily seals that are installed into energetic systems such as chakra systems or meridian systems. It's not following any sort of patterning like that. It's more of, I guess, an impressive implant tag system that has come through the degradation of the feminine force here on this earth, overall as a whole. So I've been seeing this session for about 3 years now, needing to be created. I kept getting flashes and images of this for a very long time, seeing what is going to be created in the future, just not having all of the pieces yet. I've been seeing extensive divine feminine implant systems for a very, very long time. And it really started with seeing the motherhood hook wound in the 9th and the 10th dimensional field in multiple women, hooks that would debilitate the flowering of the motherhood into the highest divine potential, resulting in extremely damaged maternal lineages. Going back up the bloodline to the daughter, the mother, the grandmother, the great-grandmother, so on and so forth, shrouded in pain, shrouded in betrayal, shrouded in abandonment, vengeance, evil, scorched earths, passed on as curses and blood covenant magic, and creating living life forms in the feminine template in the shadow. So really bringing forth the darker, diabolical aspects of the Black Mother or the Black Madonna or the Dark Mother, whatever you want to call her, right? It's this toxic femininity that has become a black mirror. So it's a progression off of never being able to heal being victimized also in a lot of ways. So I'm going to get into that because this isn't about clearing victimizer programs. So I'm going to kind of get into that more so you guys can understand more deeply how this is more geared towards the healing of the core wounding of the feminine versus making a victim statement at every single thing that has been done, but essentially going to the core of the wound and working to remove and heal. Okay, so over and over again, I'm seeing the same implants, and they just keep revealing themselves to me more there. This implant and tag removal system really applies mostly to the Isis bloodlines, also to the Mary Magdalene bloodlines. These are the bloodlines that are carrying more of the Fleur-de-lis implants in the uterus, which I'm going to explain in this video as well, energetic imprints and also clamps. There's also something called a scion cord that's come down through fraternities in France that have imposed the holy blood, holy grail onto particular bloodlines, such as the Merovingian bloodlines, things like this. So this is going to be a really long video today. There's a lot for me to break down and discuss regarding this implant system. The history of the implant system is all really, really important. I did put that up on my community tab as well, so you can go read about that. It's on my Facebook page. I'm also going to be putting it up as a blog on my website, probably sending out an email newsletter, you know, the whole shebang. So that way the writing can be there to go along with everything else that I'm trying to depict here with this today. So these implants also apply to the Sophianic dragon heart womb lineages. This is kind of at the core of the Mary Magdalene and Isis bloodlines. It applies to Templar Anunnaki. It applies to the Hydras. It applies to the Pleiadian star lineages. It applies to more ancient descendants carrying seed codes to the motherlands of Mu, such as the Crux nations, Cassiopeians, Cygnusians as well. So it's very extensive, and a fractal of this within your identity means you're probably carrying something here. And not everybody is carrying every single implant or tag that's within this system as well. So, but I did kind of want to talk about the astrological alignments that are occurring right now. I do find that the Syrian sun seems to have both a positive and negative impact to the Earth's evolution, because even though the Syrian sun brings through the divine mother energies, which is bringing in high cosmic solar Sophianic flowering radiation crystal seed codes straight through the stargates, in creation spirals, into the womb networks, and straight into the planetary pyramid networks. I've been seeing this so extensively, where all of these crystal seeds flow into, and why this is creating passageways of womb clearings. It's flooding this whole network like no other, this high Syrian upgrade. It's also bringing forward more portions in the timelines that are connected to Sirius B, because everything that's kind of come from Sirius B has been corrupted through Orion invasions, through reptilian invasions, through Anunnaki invasions, through Melchizedek, okay? Second seeding Atlantis, the priest there that brought forth artificial crystals here to give them the technology to tamper with crystal technology. Narcissistic templating invasions, Atlantean invasions, predatorial invasions. Okay, this came through Sirius B. So through this Syrian passageway, it's this great, okay, it didn't just come through Sirius B, okay, but it was the priesthoods of the Syrian Bs Okay, they were the brotherhood in Atlantis that was the most dominant. Okay, they ran Atlantis. That's what they did. So it's bringing through this visibility of the battle of light versus dark, or what feels like the healing of this global struggle with evil, the healing of the struggle with enmity. Okay, enmity means hostility. It means anti-empathy. It means antagonist. It means animosity, rancor, animus. It means my dog's just playing with her squeaky toy. So you hear little noises every now and then. It's enmity is deep-seated dislike or ill will against something in this global case. In this case, it's life. Enmity against life. Enmity also suggests positive hatred that may be open or concealed. Okay? Normalizing of hatred. It's purely psychospiritual warfare. It's majorly telepathic and emotional warfare. And it's warfare that's between woman and knowledge, woman and divinity, woman and her origin, woman and creation, woman and her children, woman and womb, woman and her ability to bring in karma free souls as the divine creator of matter. Okay, it is the woman's flesh that builds the body. It is the woman's flesh who makes matter. Matter. Okay, the only way a soul can come into this earth plane is through incarnation stargates, is through the gate portal. Now, I'm not talking about these impartial spirits, okay, entities. I'm not talking about degraded warfare, holocaust, persecuted, blown up, transfigural, disoriented souls. Okay, I'm talking about everything from a reptilian soul to a true indigo. All of this is being amplified at this time. This is the real battle of Mary in the crowned 12 stars above her head and her war with the red dragons. Sophia and the Yaldabaoth. Creation fracking versus the Divine Mother. We can see the amplification of this energy in everything that is happening around us at this time. If you just open your mind, heart complex to feel it, see it, know it, experience it, live it, understand it, understand it, overstand it. And I haven't put anything out since they overturned the Roe versus Wade decision, which has been driving me insane, you guys, to put my 2 cents in about that, because you know I'd be popping off all the time on this subject, topic matter, whatever. You can go watch some of my previous videos I've done. I've always been pro-choice, pro-body, pro-women's rights, but that's been changing a lot for me. Okay, and I want to tell you it's been changing because of what I'm seeing. So that's why I didn't rush to put something out about this. I wanted to collect my thoughts. I wanted to observe the mentalities that are revealing themselves about this big national ideological spiritual shift that's taking place. The enmity between life and anti-life beliefs, chaos consuming the heart chakra energy of the earth. Shifts that I feel wholeheartedly were a part of a bigger agenda. Okay, you have to understand this is not coming down through the belief of right and wrong, the morality of human integrity. This is coming down, according to the elite Luciferians and the Leviathan races, population control agenda. That decision has come down ultimately from AI. And it could have been organic AI, but it was AI. Okay. It is ritualized through the Georgia Guidestones. It's implemented through the Man Behind the Curtain in Canberra, Australia, the Yellow Brick Road, whatever you want to call it, Willy Wonka. Meaning all of this is still about population control, whether it's control of life or death. End of the day, pro-life or anti-life. Universal tree of life, the original universal tree of life, or the Quillipith. And the reversal is running upon that. The ability to control life at the highest scales of policy, that's really just what it's about. Turning incarnation gates on and off. We should be so grateful that they even allow us to have a womb. We should be so grateful they even allow us to do anything at this point, right? We should be so grateful. These, and I'm being sarcastic. In case you didn't catch it, I'm being sarcastic. These Black Sun agendas, draconian manipulating reptoids, masterminds of the Council of Rome, catharsis, Templars, crucifixion, persecution, yellow badges, military, industrial complexes, global health mafias, global death organizations, Willy Wonkas. They are trying to salvage something right now. Okay, organic AI trying to salvage something right now. They're giving green lights geographically to bring in more incarnates. Okay, but why? The birthing forced breeder is going at 500 reptilians hybridized Cthulhu's to 1 indigo 5D incarnate per incarnation Stargate, Earth-based Stargates. Okay. They, of course, know whoever controls the Mother Ark gate systems, which is currently plagued with parasitic energy, of the highest Metatronic metaversal degree. They know who controls the Mother Ark gate systems, controls the incarnation gate systems of nations, the most precious human resource. Okay. And besides the immediate resources to function as a human being. Okay. Besides water, food, shelter, clothes, love, all of these things. The whole point is that the main power over the Stargate networks that pulls in souls from the universe lies in their hands. Okay, so the Supreme Court decision was like a control button to override from the control panel that controls which races seed into the race morphogenetic field on this earth. These are higher coalitions of commands that are coming down through cosmic laws. Okay, and it's all about them opening and closing incarnation gate systems by placing bans. These gate systems actually turn on and off all the time according to different geographical locations on this earth. This is nothing new to this global era death civilization. It just feels new. Like, what's going on? But they've been doing this for thousands of years, turning incarnation gate systems on and off. China being one of the places because they're Orion and Draconic gate systems, okay? That's what they're holding. It's Orion and Draconic gate systems, incarnation gates. They turn this on and off all the time there because of the level of warfare that is there, okay? 6-dimensional warfare that is there. Right now, it's Pleiadian Stargate systems that are getting turned back on, hence these massive Machu Picchu activations taking place on the earth right now. Machu Picchu is a Pleiadian Stargate, and it houses the divine sister energies, parthenogenic creation, Inquire, and Mayan energies. This is also Cygnusian-dominated time cycle, astrologically speaking, because of the activations that we're receiving and the birthing of gate systems that are taking place in the Cygnusian system, which is very extravagant. And it is the most active in our solar system and our universal system. And so these cycles, now more than ever, are seeding Cygnusian gamma radiation templating into the race morphogenetic field. This is providing seed architecture and seed artifacts for all 4 indigo types to be activated on Earth now. So Cygnus and Pleiadian factions do seem to be what is overriding the race morphogenetic field of the Earth at this time. So this is a lot of Pleiadian, this is a lot of divine feminine, ethereal, tribal ancient codes, and messages that are flooding the grids of the Indigos 1, 2, and 3 type template holders. This is bringing forth and through at this time. So profound, you guys. It's just magical what's going on right now, but it's bringing through a planetary global womb healing to the Earth. Okay, hence this implant removal that I'm bringing forward. Tag removal system, healing, Golden Temple healing, Lemurian regression. This is bringing forth this global planetary womb healing to the Earth. All of the Sophianic dragon light grids globally are expanding within the organic D13 currents of the Earth that are expanding into the intergrid systems of the crystalline matrices into triple organic grid systems. Okay, we're getting triple organic grid systems. The stargates are being purified with the high Syrian energy. The ring of fire has been clearing energy. The volcanoes have been clearing energy. The stargate vortexes have been opening more and more down in Peru, Uluru. Okay, all of the crystal nodal points. There are 24 organic crystal nodal points on high mountain peak tops following gas lines running the crystal grid system. There are planetary womb, brain, womb, heart. This has been healing and clearing energy. The planetary sacral chakra locations on the Earth are clearing and receiving purity codes. They're being restored, rehabilitated, renewed. This is a great sacral reset. And it's clearing mourning at this time. Okay, so all of these mentalities, socially, collectively, politically, are being tested at this time. Entire belief systems are being tested at this time. Programs are being tested at this time. Shadow is being tested at this time. And for a lot, it needs to be accepted and observed without judgment. We are receiving such a deeper awakening that is happening more and more and more. The value of life, the value of children, the value of woman is being tested like we've never seen. Everything we're dealing with regarding infanticide is connected to the womb of the Earth. That is being restored. The woman's womb has the strongest magnetic field in the body and is held within the magnetic field of the heart. Okay, so it's like you have this really strong heart magnetic field, and then you have this stronger magnetic field that is at the womb. And the Earth's womb is the strongest magnetic field component within the entire planetary bioenergetic field. Hence why these issues of life versus anti-life is and has been an issue that has continued to come back time and time again with a vengeance, because it's held the closest within the magnetic field of the biology, within the emotions, within the sensuality, within the intimacy, within the beauty of life, within the flower of life. So Roe versus Wade being overturned, maybe that was what was needed, right? To shift the collective perspective to one that values life. Okay, and like I said, I've always been pro-choice, the women's rights to choose, the women's rights to safety in terms of ectopic and even rape situations. But even that, you see what I'm saying? So I don't want to get into the details of that because I don't want to show reflections of me that could be judged according to just simply giving perspective or mentioning certain things. I don't want to go into the depth of that. But I'm sure many of you are seeing what I'm saying right now and feeling it really deep inside, that there is truth to this. Okay, although infanticide has been something that has been practiced for thousands of years on every continent by every people by every culture complexity, from hunter-gatherer to high civilizations, including our own ancestors. Okay, we are so thankful that we are the ones that got in. Okay, but a lot of us can't see that because of the value that's not placed upon life. Okay, Atlanteans, clearly this was a part of their culture. Rather than being the exception, it has always been the hidden rule, kind of like the hidden mother or the dark mother, okay, or the Hydra energy, the demonization of the cross or the crux that the feminine has to bear. There have been natural remedies that have been handed down culture after culture, beginning with the fall of Atlantis 70,000 years ago, working its way to modern times when it comes to this infanticide. And I say Atlanteans because in Lemuria, this did not happen. In Lemuria, this is when the corruption actually truly came in and seated. In Lemuria, the children were loved. Okay, the children were seen as gifts, a gift from the divine, a gift that was to be cherished. Abortion was not common in Lemuria. Infanticide was not common in Lemuria. Actually unheard of. Because the act of creating life was understood at a much higher level. And many divine feminines had mastered the art of birthing souls without karma through parthenogenic creation, which is replicating the chromosomes of the DNA in different orders to create without seed artifacts. Okay, so this would bring in karma-free souls. This would come through the double virgin birthing. And this is sacred wisdom that is still held within seed packets of information in places like Machu Picchu. That's what's held there in the mountains. Communities were tribal. All people raised children in group support. It did not matter who seeded that child. All men raised the village. All sistrins loved each other and had their breast out to show the eyes of the heart. The nipples are the eyes of the heart. It shows you that the heart can see. Okay, and it represents the nurturing, loving energy of the woman that is allowed to be embraced so freely, so energetically, so openly, so physically, connecting spiritual and matrimony through solstices, through spiritual portals that will merge spirit with physicality. This essentially is mother's milk, right? The nurturing love of the divine feminine, of the woman, and how we are to nurture organically. So these acts of procreation were spiritually sacred in this time, and creation fracking had yet to plague the earth. That didn't come in until Atlantis, when they started cloning. Okay. Atlantis post towards modern times, deeper, more biological agendas have built upon the promotion of infanticide. Okay, and what's so hard about this is that it's the same diabolical force that's promoting transhumanism, aka transgenderism, aka transhuman AI, okay, aka Neuralink, aka whatever you want to, whatever, okay? But what they're doing is it's a MK super ultra infanticide, making this seen as socially acceptable through brain and thought implanting harvesting of the unborn to make it profitable. Okay, this all came down through corruption of greed, through the 7 deadly sins, through the negative ego, through Maldek, through narcissism, through reptilians, through Dracos. Okay, building the hierarchical, empirical structures of corruption to sell to the biofacilities, to sell to Big Farm. Ooh, that just gave me the chills. It gave me the creeps. Farming humans. okay, as well as desensitize the public to accept barbaric anti-life architecture, death culturalism, societies that worship death, okay, that are connected to the Leviathan races, which is just another nice way of saying the psychopaths destroying the integral aspects of humanity. So I have reevaluated my position. I want women to have rights. I don't want women to regress into some sort of superior position to the masculinity. And I felt like that's what I was seeing through the whole Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case, and also some other legal cases where the women are taking hits for masculine destruction, doom and gloom. If we go into who is the guy that has the islands, Epstein, okay? And the gal who's taking the punishment for that. Okay, I don't want to see this regression of women's rights, at least not here in the States, right? No, not anywhere in the world. Okay, I want all women to have the right to choose what is best for them in all aspects of their life, but I want more for the world to value our existence here in the preciousness of that, the preciousness of it. And that comes through making different choices. And that may require us for what appears as a sacrifice, but really something that may be strengthening your ability to have greater senses of right and wrong, good versus evil. So this is all really deeply connected to the reasons why this implant removal network is absolutely imperative to healing the feminine aspects on this earth. There are portions of this healing that we do focus on abortion traumas and abortion scraping of uterine. Okay, these are all highly, highly ulcerative astral and etheric wounds in the sacral chakra. And these cause, oh gosh, I can't even tell you. These cause, it almost feels like a nightmare that just replays over and over and over again in your connection points into the lucid, so through the dream time, into the astral. The seed fractals of trauma don't always fully disintegrate here, okay, especially if you're one that's trying to get past having an abortion. Not saying you can't move past that trauma, okay? You have to understand, a lot of these women that have gotten this, I mean, it's not always, it is their choice at the end of the day, but there is so much social programming that is geared towards corrupting the woman's ability to make good choices. In colleges, specifically colleges in states like California, New York, Seattle, whatever, these colleges don't have a lot of pregnant women running on these campuses. What they have is abortion clinics infanticide clinics in their campuses. And so when a woman becomes pregnant, they do not have discussions with them to guide her into keeping life or whatever. They peer pressure them into those types of things. So there's a lot of things that are playing out here that's not fully being exposed. But it's imperative to work on the sensual energetic template of the divine feminine to continue to strengthen and heal the feminine aspects on this earth. So are we really ready to start healing that pain? We have to ask ourselves that question. I've always said time and time again that we have to heal from Lemuria, because that's what happened at this time, was the tearing apart from source. Different and deeper levels of tearing apart our connection to source, to the divine fountain of the mother's love. Okay, so I'm going to go into the history of the implants of Lemuria with you guys. I feel like this part is really important for me to discuss with you guys. So to anyone who is a naysayer of the fact that this is about overcoming victim-victimizer programming, or in any way am I propagating victimizer programming, I can understand your perception and see your point in that. But I think we should always be conscious of this within to not succumb to victim-victimizer programming. So this is about being able to go beyond that programming and kind of shrug that off and just go deeper into the core wounding, because that victim-victimizer program, it dances with the ego identity anyways. Okay, because it's a superiority complex. And so if you've really cleared that, you will have already conquered your negative ego mentalities. If you've already cleared, truly cleared victim-victimizer programs, which would not engage you to judge one's own healing process, because it comes in cycles, and you're never ever going to be fully in this ascended, masterful state. You will always come back around through your Saturn return, through whatever it is, to come back to deeper levels and layers of things. Okay, so it's about really just making yourself the priority and understanding and loving yourself no matter where you are. We should not look at this implant system as a woman's woe, because they are equally similar. Like I said, the implants in the masculine sacral templating as well, they have some of the same tags, okay? Misery tags, false twin flame tags. I'm just thinking. Some men even have rape tags as well. They've been victimized and raped by, very rarely, women, but also if that is to happen, it's more of in a predatory state of an older woman versus a young child type of situation, or but men can be raped by other men. Okay. So this isn't about woe. This is about going to the level of the core world wounding, which is the taking of these precious energies. So it's humanity's core world wounding. If we want to heal globally, we have to support each other's healing. And this isn't about, well, I've done it, so why can't you? Type of thing. This is about holding the gates of healing centers open and welcoming as many people in as you possibly can who are ready. That's what being a facilitator is all about. That's what being a supporter is all about. Okay, we have to embrace divine compassion of the highest levels here. The fact that this clearing is coming down through Mary Magdalene and Isis bloodlines, okay, through this sacral chakra clearing. Okay, we have to approach this with gentleness, compassion. Okay, and we have to see the light and hold the light within ourselves, because we can't see that light that we so desire in the world unless we hold it first within ourselves. So this healing session that has come forward after a deep and great need for it, that's been presented to me after working with countless of divine feminines and seeing the diversity of types of implants that are affecting the feminine template within particular lineages. I seek to assist women to help them be stronger, more empowered in love, in life, in themselves, because so that way they can help the children. Okay, and so that way we can, as divine feminines, rebalance the imbalances in the global crisis of gender deterioration. Okay, and to also help the masculines heal as well. There's more to that, of course. There's so many layers, so many levels, and it's forever ongoing. So I know I just talked so much, but I'm going to go ahead and pull up my so I want to talk with you guys about the history of the Lemurian implants and seals to give you the backdrop of all this. I did write about this, like I said, so you can go read the writing if you want to do that. So with this implant and tag system, Essentially, the Lemurian history began around 200,000 years ago when the motherlands of Mu cataclysmically sunk in the Pacific Ocean, and the survivors of Mu ultimately became the Lemurians. So you guys have may heard me talk about this in some of my more recent updates and videos. Basically, Lemuria functions off of a grid network. So in the Earth's holographic divine blueprint, it was built upon an organic D13 current in the magnetic grid. This was amplified with an intergrid that was purely crystalline, running the highest frequency of the diamond encoding the Earth has ever experienced. That is running codes from inner Earth diamond oceans to Antarctica diamond solar disk in the Earth. This high frequency, high powered Stargate, angular ley line system, the global pyramid network, and several purity nodes in the Earth's grids is all consisting of the Lemurian grid template. Okay, so this is a blueprint that you can access internally inside the body. And this will also allow you to access deeper into the implants and tag systems that are here running in the field. Now, the Lemurian grids do carry the purity of the white ray lineages. So the white dove, the white swan, the white dragon, the white serpent, the white cow, the white eagle, the white peacock, whatever. It's a unification that comes through a tetramorphic union of living creatures. And this happens in the book of Ezekiel, biblically speaking, merging polaric identity into a single figure, creating the perfected eternal human or androgynous spirit light body. This is a representation of a merging and unification of bloodlines through the white ray to crystal to double diamond liquid plasma rays. This unification process is necessary on a spiritual level to acquire the level of consciousness that is to uphold and exist within the spiritual pillars on the earth that uphold the planetary body's spiritual spinning Merkaba field, which is highly under attack. Okay, this entire network of energy mechanics of spiritual pillars and Merkabas and light body fields and spiritual bodies and super consciousness field of the earth, all of this templating is constantly under attack. These grids are encoded into the Earth's body at the same time. Okay, it was a grid that was installed at the same time as the DNA seed templates for the Pleiadians, who came and brought the 24th chromosome, and they brought forth the human spiritual core to the Earth through the Mother Arc Gate sites on the Earth, planetary Mother Arc Gate sites. So high, pure, crystal nodal points in the grids, seeding into therefore, mothers, incarnation gates, who were parthenogenically creating before a time that karma existed in the creation process. The Pleiadians created and assisted with making the grids of the earth a conscious crystal grid. Also installed 24 purity nodes on the earth in 24 different locations, a benevolent design that still exists and is mostly located at the mountain high peaks connected to diamond and rare gem crystal mines. These locations are said to house the guardians of the earth. They are called seraphim light arcs that plug into the merger fields of the future light cities on the earth. If you are a part of the 144, you are connected to these future light cities on the earth. This is a part of your mission. This is a part of your calling. The Pleiadian made peaceful, benevolent deals with the galactic nations, serving the councils of Mu, such as the Cassiopeans, Hydras, Crux, and Cygnus systems. Several of these nations went to work in defeating several facets of the Dracos. So, such as the Hydras, and I talked about this a lot with Hydra. Cassiopean systems, they were the ones that were pushing out warring, savage, vampiric, cannibalistic variations of experimental draconic human development that had occurred. They created the technology to extract that. And human reincarnations with a spiritual soul eventually flourished because of that. Okay. Then Lemurian culture begins to flourish into the most beautiful and peaceful timeline this earthly body has ever known, because it was existing off of those grid networks that had the D13 current with the magnetic grid with the amplified intergrid crystalline running the highest frequency, right? So The Pleiadians made all kinds of peaceful, benevolent deals with the galactic nations, serving the councils of Mu and into Lemuria as well. So the Aboriginal people who had been living in Australia and the Anangu people, okay, these tribal indigenous lines, carry the purity of the white dove codes and the true Pleiadian seed codes in their DNA and on their land. So Hopi prophecy codes, all of this stuff. And then we come into the first cataclysm. So the Lemurian holocaust at 70,000 years ago was the original dismantling and fragmentation, separating and fracturing the Lemurian and the Atlantean grids. They were once connected. They once coexisted together for some time. This was before the destruction of any cataclysm, when mer-priest kings ruled with all-encompassing compassion under matriarchal banner of Lemurian culture with no conflict. During this time, all the wisdom of Atlantis was encoded into the 13 crystal skull quartz of Lemuria, made from the organic quartz crystal caverns in the Bermuda Islands. But betrayal seeds of Maldek soon revealed themselves in the Atlantean civilization. This is when underground tunnels were blown up in an attempt to keep Draco invasions from continuing to happen in Lemuria, but ultimately it was too late. The original Lemurian tribal genocidal attacks had already ultimately been committed since the original Pleiadian seeding 200,000 years ago. Many divine feminine, original angelic, parthenogenic able, and non-parthenogenic abled earth bodies were implanted with moon chains. Okay, this is one of the first implants, is the moon chains, the breeder harness, the locator breeder tags, the rape tags. All of this was implanted. They were taken to Mars, to Nibiru, and they were force bred with digressive reptilians and Nephilim lines against their will. They were studded. Okay, this comes down a lot through the Irish, the Ireland bloodlines, the African American bloodlines. Okay, these are a lot of the human races that fall under these categories that were studded. The women were taken and they were studded out to the largest alpha stud. Okay, and this process repeated itself multiple times over 12,000-year-old cycles. Okay, these were the first Lemurian implants to be installed. So do you see how far into the core wounding we're going? A lot of women cannot identify these inside themselves. Okay, this takes digging into the psyche. It takes digging into regret. It takes digging into unconsciousness to reveal this, and one has to be able, wanting, willing, open, understanding, empathic, kind, and want to be real with themselves about the choices that they made. At this time, it was considered against natural law to breed outside of your genetic inheritance, and it was part of the disconnecting of partners from true 5D souls incarnating and blocked the ability of perfect harmony. The females at this time were implanted with false twin flame tags. They were blackmailed. Okay, these are more of the tags. Masculines do hold the false twin flame tags. They were blackmailed and tricked into believing that if they willingly went and did this, that their counterparts would be saved. But unfortunately, they were murdered. Okay, and this is a lot of the masculine trauma. Okay, when we talk about implants, tags, wounding, core wounding of masculines, they were slaughtered. Okay, they were murdered. They were betrayed. They were hurt. This wasn't just something that happened to the women. Okay, dark Syrian Anunnaki Melchizedek priests encoded artificial selenite rods with anti-female death screens in the North and South Americas called J-seals. This is all biblical, comes down through the horsemen, the trumpets, the seals. Through these artificial systems, they run reversal codes directly about the original genocidal memories. They run reversal codes directly about the original genocidal memories. This is why people have no clue. opening up the passageways to allow patriarchal demon seeds to come through and up from the 33rd parallel. They have continued to use these passageways to install additional implants that have come down through the Fleur-de-lis lineages, Mary Magdalene, Isis, Templar Anunnaki, Medusa, Black Madonna, installing the 12 patriarchy stars of Mary. Okay, this represents a patriarchy crown. They installed the Fleur-de-lis clamp, the scion cording, and several other birth controlling implants. They want to control the incarnation gates, woman alteration implants, infanticide technologies, and trauma bodies therein. When the women taken against their will found this out, they attempted to restore, they attempted to heal, they attempted to try to rebel against the reptilians, but they were up against beings that cannot possess empathy, let alone vision for life architecture. The reptilians harnessed them to the moon, anchored them into the black hole between the earth and the moon, and kept as many as they could under deep breeder technology, looking glass technology, to subliminally program their subconscious mind under PDS programming through the symbols. This is why you will see women who live and die to this day defending everything against their greater will. Through these chains, they will continuously force breed these digressive reptilian lines. They begin, and the women, they began to hate themselves, hate their children. Could you think about that? You think about that? Looking at all of the children you had to breed that came from being raped. This was major trauma to the divine feminine. That majority of Templar, Anunnaki, Hydras, Pleiadians, several hybrids of these types, Cygnus, Crux, Cassiopeians, still carry the original chains to the etheric bodies to this day. Many who carry these also carry several lifetime memories of mass ethnic cleansing, colonization, slavery, being studied, intergalactic slave trades, Irish and African American bloodlines, prostitution, and much more. Much more. Okay, and it wasn't just Ireland and African American bloodlines. It wasn't just that. There's others. The manifestation of reproduction issues all comes from this: gender misery, creation fracking, gender principle distortions, dark mother, dark father principle templates, gender identity, all splitting and destruction of universal principles across nations. Okay, calling in the need for the reconstruction of cosmic law, which is on its way. So the first Lemurian Atlantean timeline was the first implant system to technically be installed prior to the J-Seals. The J-Seals is a continuation off of anti-female harvesting, siphoning, hijacking, corruption, and enmity. Lemurian implants include etheric force breeding harnesses, chastity belts, gag orders on the mouth, motherhood hooks, wounds in the 9th and 10th dimensional fields, moon chains anchored into the 9th dimensional field, motherhood hooks in the sacral, womb, ovaries, fallopian tubes, and our breast implants. Okay, some women have implants in their breasts, both physically and ethically, creating multiple types of hormonal dysphoria, alchemical dysphoria. Some women have clamps and clips on their ovaries. Okay, several different implant devices that are installed here. Okay, it can be in the mouth, the arm, the cervix. So the implants installed from Lemuria, this all comes down from the original policy of population control, population agenda. This was something that was created in Atlantis, and it has been extensive for women with these implants because it's been very difficult. Some of these things are 100% irreversible without cutting open the physical body. Do you see how deep that is? You'll only understand this if you can tune into your tribal codes and see how they have the artificial warfare upon the feminine codes is extreme. I'm not saying you can't heal from these things, and I'm not saying you can't overcome from these things, but the fact is that some of these things are irreversible. And it's deeply attacking the entire feminine collective to present day. So that's kind of the history of all of this. The goal ultimately of this Lemurian regression and implant removal is to unplug the feminine distortions, implants, tags, to allow the organic systems, to allow the goddess energy to fully come through the body and heal itself, restore itself. Okay, and some of these, so I'm just going to go through a couple of these implants. So you can see in the picture here, I have a very large womb that kind of looks like a butterfly. But the point of that is that so I could put the details into that so you could see the implants on and in the womb, and how it is affecting the energetic body. We'll start with the forced breeder harnesses here. So you can see the woman wearing this harness on her shoulder, back, and front chest and torso area. So these were control harnesses that were placed on the female when attempting to force breed. Okay, to keep the woman in place for studs, giants, Nephilims, digressive reptilians to mate. These harnesses went on the back and around the front of the woman. Okay, and this also they have metal rings to tie down to circuit chains. So you can see the circuit chains here on the top of the shoulders. Okay, and those circuit chains were then tied to the moon and the circuitry systems of the divine feminine biology. Okay, so the energetic living slavery cords that allowed for refugee races, soulless beings, empty seeders, disoriented, fragmented, impartial spirits, all those radioactive astral warfare rips in times in the space-time continuum where those disoriented spirits are coming through. They can come through the wormhole between the earth and the moon. They can come through the chains. And these groups make up moon circuit races that are hybridized with the Anunnaki, with the Draco, and other various races that are considered displaced races that have come from other war-degraded planetary systems, sometimes war-degraded areas in our own planetary system, and they have lost their homes. So they're directly from the wormhole systems, and many other nations, particularly the Orion groups, have been using the magnetic imprints of the moon and the black hole energy systems between the Earth and the moon to create these moon circuit races for a long time. Hence why they want to control incarnation gates, turning them off and on. They want control of this. It's always been about the race morphogenetic field. Okay. This is the one of the incarnation contracts Earth has taken, along with the Maldek incarnates here that have limited evolution. So this is about bringing in evolution that is limited by about 1,000 years to keep reversing the planet into anti-life architecture. They are inherently responsible for creating gender manipulation, gender mutilation, detransitioners, source creation, birthing, separation, fracking, CRISPR technologies, infanticide, in vitro, whatever, distortion, sexual confusion. This implant is mainly responsible for the damage incurred to the incarnational stargates on Earth. It has created disruption between the material and the spiritual planes, particularly the preliminary incarnational astral planes that prepare spirits for their entrance into the stargates by implanting forced trauma into the atomic levels of the astral and the material body, a fourth dimensional heart damage and soul-based trauma, shutting down, making stargates less receptive and bonded to the circuitry that powers the stargate. Oh, and that is the wound that supports infanticide. 100%. Okay? Don't tell me this is about victim-victimizer programming when we have to go deeper into our consciousness, into our psyche, and we have to get to the core of this stuff. Many who carry this imprint may also have history of receiving infanticide technologies, deep suppressed or repressed hatred for self or for their offspring, deep regret, okay? Longing for different choices and outcomes, always wishing you could go back and change the past, regretting who you breeded with, okay? Some women may appreciate their offspring and love their offspring, but they regret who they mated with, okay? They may have constant feelings of being robbed of their fertility, robbed of their youth, robbed of their reproduction, feeling like they have been taken and utilized for something outside of themselves, an agenda of bringing life in that doesn't have anything to do with your fifth dimensional soul. It fragments the incarnation in this life and leaves the spirit feeling constantly lost, trying to call in the parts of them that were never able to incarnate. It's an intense one. There's a lot more that comes from this. It's not just this. There's also the 12 stars of Mary's crown. So the 12 patriarchy stars here that you see around her head, capping the 10th dimensional fields. Okay, so I just want to give a shout out to Darlene because I've seen this with her during a session, and how these stars are within the feminine collective body. Like I said, capping the 10th dimensional field, the maternal lines, causing the patriarchal control to oppress the maternal lineages, also the paternal lineages as well. This has come down through monarchy seals as well, through Queen Elizabeth of England. She used to wear a huge collar that she wore around the frame of her head. Actually, I'm just going to screen share this with you guys so I can show you this picture. Stop this screen share, and we're going to go to, so yeah, this is, so she wore the cord, that framed the head in the circle, and she was known as the Virgin Queen, hence this activation for all this double virgin birthing that's coming up. She never married. She refused to share her throne as much as her advisors tried to marry her off, but she would carry this ring feature in yellow around her. So they say that this mirrors the Mother Mary ring of stars around her head, and that these are significant because these represent the nations of Israel. These represent the male disciples, okay? And this is a stigmata wound, just like the crucifixion wounds, just like the yellow badges, running persecution codes from World War II, Holocaust, all of that. Okay, it's the same imprinting in the field. Revelations 12:1-2, later in that chapter, and yes, I'm reading something from the Bible. Like, it is what it is, you guys. This is where this comes down through. So what do you think the Mary Magdalene lineage is? You know, Isis lineages, like this is all comes down through Templar Anunnaki stuff. So this is what has to be cleared, right? This is what we're healing. This is, the woman is at enmity with and pursued by a huge red dragon who we are told is Satan or the devil, while the woman flees to safe places in the desert prepared for her by God. The dragon and its angels wage war against Michael and his angels in the heaven. Okay, remember how I told you the blue ray in the Archangel Michael lineage is the most under warfare when it comes to our struggle against evil on this earth? It's being cast down to earth through the dragon called the ancient serpent. Okay, demonizing of the serpent here. Again, that's another core wound that we have had implanted. The enmity between woman and serpent pursues the woman who escapes him, so he wages war against her offspring. Okay, so this is why we have to clear these implants, because what is being waged in war against our offspring? That is what all of this is about. Okay, so we have to remove this from the divine feminine template. We have to remove this from the divine feminine biology. So the Fleur-de-lis implants you can see in the picture how there is a fleur-de-lis in the corner, you can see in the picture how there's a fleur-de-lis off to the side here with the actual fleur-de-lis with a red clamp across the fleur-de-lis. Well, this clamp across the fleur-de-lis is also clamped across the cervix or the uterus right underneath the Stargate portal. Okay, the fleur-de-lis is very mirroring and spiritually symbolic of the womb itself. Look at the picture of the fleur-de-lis. Okay, this is the Stargate portal. This are the two branches that come off to the right and the left side. And so the fleur-de-lis is symbolic of the womb and the three spirals of creation. The fleur-de-lis holds the biological and original access points into the mother arcing bridges, whether that's biological or planetary, and into the sacred gate systems, which hold the access points into the cosmic birthing stargate systems, where the womb upholds the merge points of the three spirals of creation into the birthing stargate systems through the organic D13 current into a field that reaches through and across the great void to allow infinite eternal potential mergers through the vast networks of womb worlds. So each birthing stargate potential, so you see this stargate here with the frequency of the spiral of creation energy, the color templating of that, its birthing stargate potential is universal. Okay, it is to seed over 1 million plus galactic species on Earth, but that does not mean that it was intended fully for universal seed creation. Okay, the true technology is in parthenogenic creation. It was originally intended to seed within unified pure bloodlines and within the fifth dimensional soul complex to continue to anchor in pure fifth dimensional crystalline bodies and ensure the survival of the original angelic human template. This fleur-de-lis clamp is blocking this. The aggressive reptilian races took this from the divine spiritual principles of the mother and the intelligence fields on the collective consciousness that it serves. They essentially went into the heart womb seed of the mother and performed abduction, took out her womb, and then cloned it for replication. With attempts to clone birthing stargate system technologies, they then essentially branded and implanted the female womb and uterus with a circular ring implant clamp that restricted the capacity of the creation quantum allowed to funnel through the stargate system, with the ultimate goal of restricting the spiritual capacity incarnate of particular deemed breeder lines and hybridization programs. Whew. Okay, guys, so that is what is being done to the Mary Magdalene and the goddess Isis bloodlines. And it goes into the lands. It's an energetic imprint. Canada is running the pinnacle of the energetic network systems that feed off of the fleur-de-lis implants. Why do you think the head of Medusa is underneath the political vaults in Winnipeg? Why do you think the head of Medusa is underneath the Vatican? They are keeping that for a reason, and it is to funnel that through control systems back to Stonehenge in the UK and France that start with and through the hybridized Nephilim lineages. This goes right through Stonehenge. And this is there's an artificial control panel underneath Stonehenge, which has imposed the fleur-de-lis implants upon royalty and monarchy bloodlines of several nations and bloodlines, Merovingian bloodlines, France, the United Kingdom, Canada, Italy, United States, Lithuania, Albania, Bosnia. In the United States, you see the fleur-de-lis implants in the divine feminine in areas more profoundly, okay, but it comes through the genetics, the lineages, and the bloodline. So it doesn't matter if they're in these geographical locations, but you will see it strong within the French colonial empire settlements, places like Baton Rouge, Detroit, New Orleans, St. Augustine, Florida. It is believed that the fleur-de-lis implants have made their way across every state in the United States and have become ultimately a global implant that has infiltrated into and onwards of up to 70% of the divine feminine collective worldwide and is the catalyst for the breast implants. Okay, the catalyst for Botox, I don't know, whatever, needle technology, further development of needle technology. These implants were placed in the wombs of the women who came down from the France, Templar, Mary Magdalene bloodline, Isis bloodlines, Templar, and Anunnaki bloodlines. These implants mean that you are being tracked and used for your fertility and sexual and reproductive energies. Okay, and it isn't something that this is, you're being tracked through people that carry the predatorial codes. They read the imprint unconsciously. This also has to do with more energetic hijacking that came down through the fact that Goddess Isis survived under Christianity in the guise of the Virgin Mary and her many forms, Medusa. But on the contrary, she wasn't the Virgin at all. She was truly the Magdalene. Notre Dame doesn't apply to the Virgin either. And therefore, all great cathedrals in France are referred to as Magdalene. And energetic imprints of the Fleur-de-lis exist in the cathedrals and make this a global emission that encodes energetically into the global electromagnetic grid. This implant has everything to do with the cult of the Holy Grail and the Cathars, and is superimposed on those particular bloodlines carrying it. The fraternal organization of the Priory of Sion. So I'm going to show you this. So this is a cording that goes around the Fleur-de-lis, guys. So this has to do with that imposition on the bloodline. Okay, they corded it. Some women have this, some women don't. Okay, so this is very hard and difficult to self-actualize. This would be cording that would be imprinted on the uterus itself, on the Stargate. And it's installing that long accusation to install the secret bloodline of the Merovingian dynasty as the thrones of France and the rest of Europe, claiming that as the Magdalene and the Jesus bloodline. They binded it to the Fleur-de-lis with bondage that superimposes the magnetic field into the womb. So this is the main implant that is controlling the biological stargates according to limiting global ascension capacities by restricting the portals, and is running distorted DNA seed artifacts and energetic imprints. The divine feminine carrying this implant will also potentially carry, again, rape and molestation tags, empath and narcissist tags, false twin flame tags, locator, breeder, astral tags, birth control traumas in the body, birth control implants in the body, arm cervix implants, clamps, clips on the ovaries, burning or removal of reproductive organs associated with symptoms, abortion traumas, and abortion etheric wedges, removal of these layers and blockages allow more clearing to come through the womb, the vaginal, and the cervical area, and open up more creation capacity into the stargates, which will come through gate systems. We've talked about, you've maybe heard me talk in the past with Beyond Mystic channel about, or you've heard him talk about it, the 3 gates of the womb and how it's a gate system. It can come through orgasm, spiritual orgasm, but it's beyond that, that there are 8 gates that take you into creational worlds, some of those womb worlds, some of those planetary pyramid networks. It's all accessed through the Stargate of the womb. So you can see why there's so much warfare over this gate system. They know what is here. Okay, that's why they had chastity belts. Chastity belts is another implant that some women may have. Kind of like a stigmata wound. I did not put chastity belts on my diagram, but essentially it comes down through medieval times. So some of the first forms of controlling the female sexuality came at this time. And in the Dark Ages, many sexual acts that did not lead to conception were considered forbidden. So these were not worn extensively, but if a woman would wear this, she would obtain injury and oftentimes infection, sometimes even infection to the point of taking her life. So it was used at times that the masculine would take trips for work or long hours. They didn't want their wife to be a breeder. So they would essentially keep her virtue in his control. Okay, so this just adds more power and more living dark entity, living energy into the shadow of the PDSs and the 33rd parallel. Some women, they'll actually have oppression wounding in their groin area, scars, moles, certain indicators of things that will be in the groin area that will actually be representative, or in the yoni area, should I say, that would be ulcerative scarring from the astral field from chastity belts. There's also gag orders on the mouth. So especially when there's a lot of these implants in the sacral, the uterine area, it's a gag order that is also installed that will come down through the 12 patriarchal stars, because it comes down through the suppression of the maternal line. So yeah, guys, there are a lot of implants and tags here. Not every woman's going to be carrying every single one. I'm not even going to discuss every single one because it's just too much to talk about. You can see how this video is already pretty extensive today, but there's just a lot. There's a lot here. Not every single implant and tag is on the diagram, but I'll have this diagram up for you guys to look at. It's already up on my services page. So if you go to my services page, IndigoAngel222.com, go to services, you can find the diagram here. Lemurian regression, implants and tags, golden temple healing, the womb temple, Stargate repair. You could go to read more, and I give more of a description, a brief description of what the session entails for healing and removal of implants and tags. It does include a personal sacral evaluation, deep sacral chakra opening and clearing, Lemurian regression therapy, golden temple therapy, Stargate repair, and removal of implants and tags. And I will evaluate which ones that you do and don't have. And then we'll go through the clearing process of that. This isn't something that is to be taken lightly. This is a healing and clearing that requires sensuality, the connection to that energy, connection to the femininity, connection to purification. There is a gentle nature that has to be approached. Like, this has to be approached with a lot of compassion and divine love and care, because the things that you're essentially removing are anchored into the planetary core wounding, okay? And things that have happened that are injustices on this earth against the Divine Mother. And so, yeah, there's just, I'm excited to offer it, but I just want to express that. And it's not that you can't remove these things yourself, because you are 100%, you can do that, feel empowered to do that, go in yourself and self-actualize these things yourself and remove them yourself. Everybody has that sovereign power. I just offer this as a template and a healing journey that can be experienced with a facilitator that allows one to potentially be guided and directed more deeply into the clearing process of it. So it's all completely in your own hands. Your healing is in your own hands. The power is activated now. And so it's just completely whatever you choose to do. But you can see how extensive this is. And this is what I've been working on for the last week. Also, as I'm doing it, I'm clearing it within myself. So it is definitely a process and a journey of deeper insight, deeper vision, deeper revelation, and getting to a higher space of Sophianic God technology, Sophianic God codes. I've been getting so much inspiration of manifestation and how to actually bring the imprints of our seeds, of our blessings, our desires, the things that we strive to create in this world, and anchoring that into the Stargate itself, and opening up the gate systems and going into the womb worlds of creation to anchor that here. So it's a lot of powerful spiritual work that I'm getting to experience that I can't wait to share with everyone else. Okay, guys, so thank you so much for watching today, and I love you all so much. I'll be, of course, continuing to put more content out about this as more keeps unfolding itself, and as I start to see more and start to understand more aspects of it, it reveals itself over time. So that's kind of what I'm working with right now. Just trying to think what else I could tell you guys before I jump off. I will be having a Divine Feminine on the channel tomorrow. Her name is Maureen Walton, and she has designed some amazing, or she's an author, but she's also a spiritual artist who works on womb art. So this will be a really fascinating talk and conversation. I think we'll continue to extend off of all of the dynamic stuff that I talked about today in this video. So it'll be really, really nice to get her input. And yeah, guys, so just know I love you all so, so much. And I hope you have a beautiful everything. I'll be back soon with another video.